Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to solve another Google Code Jam question. The question is from Qualification round 2019 and the tagline is "You can go your own way." Okay, so let's just go ahead and read the problem statement and try to understand what the problem is actually about, and after that we can just go ahead and write the code to solve it. So the problem statement states that you have just entered world's easiest maze. You start in the northwest cell of n by n grid of unit cells. So we have a grid made up of unit cells, and its size is n by n. And this grid is actually the maze in which we are going to do whatever we are asked in this statement. And you must reach the southeast cell. Okay, so we have to start from the northwest cell and we have to go ahead and move to the southeast cell of this grid. You have only two types of moves available: a unit move to east and a unit move to south. So we can just jump into the adjacent cells in the east or in the south direction. These are the only two moves that we can do. We cannot go towards the north or west. You can move into any cell, but you may not make a move that would cause you to leave the grid. Okay, so we can go to any cell in this maze. Let's see this figure right here. This is the maze, which is made up of unit cells. So these boxes are cells, and the size is n by n. Okay, so we can go to any box that we want, but we cannot go outside of that grid to reach our destination, which is southeast cell. Okay, so the next thing we have is that you are excited to be the first in the world to solve the maze. But then you see footprints. Your rival, Labyrinth Lydia, has already solved the maze before you, using the same rules described above. Okay, first we were excited that we were going to be the first person who would solve this maze, but we are surprised that our rival, our opponent, our enemy has always solved this maze, and she has done it by following the rules that we have just studied in the above paragraph. As an original thinker, you do not want to reuse any of Lydia's moves. Okay, so we are original thinkers, we are not the copiers, so we cannot go to the path which our opponent actually used. We have to find a new path for us. Specifically, if our path includes a unit move from some cell A to adjacent cell B, your path cannot also include a move from A to B. So for example, if this cell right here was the A cell and this was the B cell, and our enemy moved from this cell to its adjacent cell on the right hand side, which is B, then we cannot follow this path. We cannot go from this cell to this cell. We have to go to some other possibility, which in this case will only be in the south direction below here. Okay, so we cannot follow the path or the moves of our opponent. However, in that case, it is okay for your path to visit A or visit B, as long as you do not go from A to B. Okay, so the problem says that you can go from A to B, but you cannot go directly from A to B. For example, you can start from here and you can go to this point right here, and after that you can go to this point right here, and after that you may go to this point right here, and in this way you are going from A to B, but the difference is that you are going to towards cell B by passing these two cells, and your opponent actually went from this cell to this cell directly. So you're not going or you're not following your enemy's footprints, but doing so you are actually visiting these two cells. So it is okay in this way. Now please find such a path. Okay, we have to find a new path. In the following picture, Lydia's path is indicated in blue, so these blue arrows are actually Lydia's moves, and one possible valid path for you is indicated in orange. Okay, so we have to choose any other path that is different from this blue arrow path. So in the figure they have given us one of many possible paths that we can go to reach our destination, which in this case is southeast cell. But I mean, this is one possible way. We can have a lot of other possible ways as well. So we just have to return a path which will be different from this blue line right here. Okay, in the input, the first line of the input gives the number of test cases. Okay, the very first line of the test cases of the input file will give us the number of test cases that we are going to handle for this case, and the t test cases follow. Each case consists of 2 lines. Okay, and after that first line we will go right into the first test case, and each test case we have 2 lines. The first line contains one integer n and giving the dimension of the maze. So in the first line of each test case will give us the size of the maze or grid. The second line contains a string of p. Okay, and the second line will be containing a string p in which the characters will be of this size. So for example, if our n is 2, so 2 into 2 minus 2. 2 2s are 4, minus 2 and 2. Okay, so each string will have 2 characters in it. Right? We can read here. It says that the second line contains a string of 2n minus 2 characters. Okay, so we will have a string in which we will have 2 characters in case our n is 2. Each of which is either uppercase E for east or uppercase for S, representing Lydia's valid path through the maze. Okay, so these 2 characters will be either E or S. E is for east and S is for south, and these are actually the moves that our opponent made. So we have to return a string which will have moves other than these strings, right? So we can just go ahead and take a look in the input. So this is the first line. This 2 is actually the number of test cases, and after that we have one test case this, and the second test case this. Remember the input file. In the input file, the test cases had 2 lines. In the first line, we will have the size of the maze. Here we have n2, so the size will be 2 by 2 because it said in the statement that the size will be n by n. So we have n2, so the size will be n2 by 2. And in that 2 we can have the characters. How many characters that we can have? 2n minus 2, which means n is 2, n minus 2, and in this case we will have 2 characters, right? And these 2 characters, they can either be E or S, right? So here you can see we only have 2 characters right here in the string, and the one of which is S and the second of which is E. And in the second test case, we have the size of the maze 5, where the string we have almost 8 characters in it. And if you can see, on the right hand side we have this output file, and earlier the Lydia started from the south and went after that to the east, but we have another option. We say that no, first we will go to the east, and after that then we will go to the south. So we have different paths, but both of us are reaching the same destination. Okay, in the second test case you can see we started from east, and after that we went to the again east, then again to the south, east, south, and again east. But in the opposite to that, in the output we have first move, our first move is S. After that we went to east, 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 south, south, east, and south. So this path is actually different to this path, and that is what is our goal is we have to return the path which is different from our opponent's path. It can be anything, but it has to be different than our enemy's path. Okay, so first of all, what we will do, we can just go ahead and before we actually write this code, you can just click on this drop down menu and select the language that you want to work on. For this video I will work on Python 3.7, so I have selected that. Okay, first of all we have to read this input, right? So for that I can just go ahead and write a variable which is t is for test cases, and in that I will take the input, but we know that when we take the input it is always returned in the string, but in the test cases we have this integer here, so we have to convert it into an integer. For that we can use int function. Now we have these t which in this case is 2, so I'll just go ahead and write 2 in the comment, that our t is equal to 2. Now we have to go through each cases, first this and after that this, right? So I have to write loop for that. What I can do is I can write for I in range t. So this loop will help us in iterating through these test cases in each iteration. So in first iteration we will read these 2 lines, and in the second iteration we have to read these 2 lines. So this is the n size, so I can just go ahead and write n, and I'll take the input, and again we know that this will be a string because input function always stores something in string, but we have a number here, so we can again go ahead and write the int function, and after that we have string, so I can show that string with s, and I can use input. Now this is the string, so we don't have to convert it into the integer, so it will remain in this way, right? So after that what we have to do is just go ahead and return the result for each case, right? So I can just write print and we have to see the format of the output file. So for first we have case hash, so I can write case hash, and after that the number of the test case. So for that we can go outside of this inverted commas, and I can write I plus 1, and we should enclose it into the brackets. And after that we have this semicolon and space, so we can write semicolon and space, and after that what we have is the string itself. So we can write a function in which we will do all the process, and after that we can call that function here. So I will call that function solve, and I will give this attribute the string that we will get after solving the question or solving this function. So what we can do is we can go here and write a function. I will use def, and here I use the name of the function solve, so I can write solve s. So this is the s that we write from the string, and we are giving this as our attribute to this function. And after that we here we will write our code in which we will process through the required moves or instructions that we were given in the problem statement. So what we can do is we can create a string which will be opposite to the input string, right? So first of all I can initialize a string. We can call that string 1, and it is an empty string at the start, and after that we can write a for loop which will go into the string character by character, and based on those characters we can return the output string, right? So I can write a loop. You can say for c and s, because we are going in our string, and this is the variable for the for the loop, you can change it as well. For example, we can write x in s. We can write a condition for that. If x is equal to s, then just go ahead and append in string 1 e. So if we get s in the input string, then we add e into the output string, right? And else means that if x is equal to capital E. So in that case, just go ahead and append s into the output string. So this is our output string, right? And at the end, go outside of this loop and return your output string. Okay, I can just go ahead and remove these spaces, and I'll just click on this test run mode, and I will copy my input and I will paste it and run test. So we'll see if our code is actually working. Here you can see it says the pending. It will take a second or two to process our code, and after that it will return the results, and hopefully. Okay, so we have a runtime error. Why do we have runtime error? Okay, I think there's a problem. We actually use this right here, so we are but we needed this into the string format, because this will return us a number, and everything else is a string. So we can just convert that into a string as well, and hopefully this problem will be solved. Okay, I can just write submit attempt again. Okay, so that was the problem that we were facing. Everything else was in the string format, so this was the string, and this was also the string, and the return of this solve function, we know this was also a string, but we actually added a number in all those strings, right? So we just had to convert that into a string as well. So I have converted using the string function, and here you can see our test set 1 is passed, test set 2 is passed, and test set 3 is passed. You can just go ahead and click here and run test to see the output, if the output is right or not. Okay, so here you can see it is completed as well. I can click here to see the output. Okay, so in the first case we had first south and then east, but in the second case we have east and then south. In the first case we had east, east, south, 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 east, south, east. In the second case we have south, south, east, 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 south, east, south. So both the paths are very different, or actually are opposite from each other. So that is how we can solve this question. I think this code was pretty simple for you, but if you have any question, or if you want to add something, just go to the comment section and let me know. And if you like this video, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button on this channel as well, so in the future you can get the notification whenever I upload such videos. Okay, goodbye for now.